Wer ist denn, oh, da ist einer. Cesar war ein bisschen geboren. 68. Ist jemand älter wie? Ja. Okay, he's born 68. Du bist 65 geboren. Okay, he's born. Okay. So Charrington ist von der Harrison High. Seine erste Football-Saison als Coach war 1962. Since 1970, seit 1970 ist er Head Coach an der Harrison High. Er ist der einzige Head Coach, der diese Schule hat und haben wird. Sie wird Ende nächsten Jahres geschlossen. Coach Harrington hat bis jetzt einen Rekord als Head Coach von 435 Siegen in seiner Karriere. Sie haben mehrere Stage Champion Titel gewonnen in ihrer Division und alles. Und nationwide ist er am Platz 7 mit den meistgewonnenen Spielen. Nummer 1 hat über 700 Spiele. Also den wird er nicht knacken. Dadurch, dass er doch ein bisschen mehr Erfahrung will euch Geräte zeigen, die ihr vielleicht gar nicht kennt. Sowas nennt man einen Tageslichtprojektor. Und das wird er auch teilweise benutzen. Also, großen Applaus, der Mann ist noch ziemlich gut unterwegs.
Thank you. Well, obviously I'm a little old school, as they say. I've got this. I don't have the PowerPoint and so on. I might have had it. We actually went farther in the state tournament than we thought. We played last Saturday night in the state championship, so it was kind of rough, but it was worth it to go to the state championship, although we got beat. Had a great time here. I admire you men for loving our game and for trying to teach it and play it and coach it. It's awesome. We spent some time with Chris and learned a lot about the programs over here. I learned about the hot wine, what was that? Yeah. I sounded like the beer better. You know, tried to get into the culture a little bit, but anyway. Well, I'm going to talk about our philosophy and so on. Talk a little bit about our offense. I don't think many of you run I formation or under center. Most of you are spread, I understand, so maybe it won't be applicable, but you can pick up a few things. We always say every time we go to a clinic in the States, if you pick up one thing, then it's good. But I know the amount of money you pay, you hope you get more than one thing here, you know. So anyway, it's a pleasure to be here. I've had a great time here so far. Everybody has been super to us, and look forward to staying a little bit longer. First of all, offensive philosophy. Okay. Number one won't surprise anybody because you all believe in it. Don't turn the ball over. If you don't turn the ball over, you're probably going to win most games. Our first game this year, played a real good team. We thought we were good. We turned it over 5 times. We got beat bad. You can't turn it over. Now, it's easier to say it, and it's hard not to do it. I mean, you're going to get a fumble now and then, and you're going to get an interception. But if you can limit turnovers, you're going to win. The NFL, they always talk about turnover ratio. That's what they say wins or loses games. The big bettors in Las Vegas, who's going to turn the ball over the most? That's what they go for. So we stress it, we talk about it all the time. We don't tell the kids don't fumble, because as soon as you tell a kid don't fumble, you say, oh damn, I'm going to fumble it, you know. So don't tell them that. That's my opinion, you know. But we got ball. I'm going to talk later on running backs, and we'll talk about how we secure the ball. So don't turn it over. Our offense, I started, like I say, in 1962. I was 21, my players were 18, so now I have ex-players out there that are 74 years old. So, when you meet up with them, that's a little different, you know. 74 years old, but it's been a great life, and when I took over the head coach in 70, I developed the philosophy. It hasn't changed too much. I developed our offensive system. I got young coaches now, and we've changed a little bit, put in the spread offenses. Right there, the good guys back there, you know. They're trying to get me to run all spread offense. Well, one is, the other one's line coach likes what we do. But anyway, we really feel that in our offense, I put in enough plays that we can adapt to what personnel we have. So it's not like we say, oh, this group's coming in, we're completely changing the offense. We reach within our offense and pick out the plays that fit them. Okay. We have had a lot of different types of kids. We've got one NFL quarterback, Drew Stanton. He plays for the Cardinals. Obviously, we could throw the ball pretty well when he was there. A couple years ago, we had a great running quarterback, and so we put in the running plays for the quarterback. This year, our quarterback couldn't do either one real well, so we handed it to the tailback. But we had something that would adapt, no question about it. We feel that in adapting the personnel, we must have multiple formations. We feel that in our offense, you can change the defensive looks by motioning and having multiple formations. We'd have probably too many plays. If I really tell you about all the plays, we have 27 runs in our offense. You can't run that many. You can't practice that many. We actually have 67 different pass variations. But, you know, then we go out and throw 12 passes a game. So you can guess that we're not using a lot of them. But sometimes when we have the better quarterback and throw a lot, we'll throw 20 passes a game. Anyway, we like to combine power offense with the spread, which you most run spread. I love power offense because I think it makes your players tougher. It makes the linemen tougher. They don't just pass block or even block for option runs. It makes them get down in there, like Coach was talking earlier about man-maker drills where you take them on. I love it when you get in the red zone. We get in something we call the power eye triangle, which we'll show you. And we think we can put the ball in the end zone using power. Lineman coming off the ball, getting underneath the defensive lineman. We call it stick blocking. Sometimes it's down blocking. Sometimes we pull it on the goal line. It's mostly straight ahead stuff. We like to combine the power. But when you get farther behind, you're not going to line up in power and just go 3 yards. So it's nice to have the spread in. And the spread for us is more a passing offense than a running offense. However, we do have the runs in there, and possibly next year with the quarterback we have, we may be running more of that. But we also run in a spread in our 2-minute offense. That means that, you know, at the end of the game when you have to score and you call the plays on the field, the quarterback calls them, we usually get in a double slot formation and he'll call automatic plays, and we can do that. I do not call the plays from the sideline. Do you guys call the plays from the sideline with signals? It's a big thing now in high school with us. A lot of them are calling them. They took it from the college game, you know, and Chip Kelly, who was a coach in Oregon with big cards and all sorts of hand signals and so on. Like I said, I'm old school. I got this, don't I? Well, I'm old school, so I still go out, get the quarterback, he comes over to the sideline, I call the play, or possibly I send in the play. They told me in the state championship game this year, I was calling the play and they had it on a jumbotron in Ford Field. And they said the other coaches were stealing because they could read my lips when I was telling the guy to send in. So we tried to cover up the mouth and so on. But basically I send the plays in. And it's just the way I do it. I will never go to the hand signals. Coach on defenses, they all go to hand signals. But I'm not smart enough to figure them all out. I got to call them over and get the play in. But anyway, we got both quick strike, we feel, and we got good goal line plays. Other things in our philosophy, okay. No procedure or offside penalties. Easier to say than to do. We got hurt in the state championship game because we finally got a decent field position. First down, we jumped offside. Now you add 5 more yards, and it's not good. And so obviously we worked hard on that. That was the only one we had in the game, but it did hurt us. Get away from offside penalties and get away from false starts. If we do that in practice, we make the players right on the spot do what we call down-ups. They just go down, you know, it's like a push-up almost. Push yourself back up, and it tries to put it in their mind, you know, not to do that. And we used to just make the guy that went offside do it, and now we make the whole offense do it, and then they kind of get on their friends not to do that. As far as a starting count in our philosophy, we keep them pretty simple. We only go on 1 or 2. You know, a lot of people go on hard counts and try to draw the opponent offside. My philosophy is you keep the count simple so you can get off the ball. And we only go on 1 count when we get down on the goal line. We basically go set, hit, maybe on the second hit, or maybe on the color. We call it color first. Red 118, set, hit. And we try not to mix it up too much. I know some people say, well, the defense can tee off on you. If we think that's happening, we will say, okay, go on a long count. But we find it takes away our aggressiveness. You know, we want to come off the ball. And so we try to keep it fairly simple there. One of my very favorite sayings is never have a fumble between us. Think about that, you know. That's the worst fumble you can have. The quarterback fumbles a snap from center. It's a killer. We fumbled once on the 1-yard line in the playoffs. It could have really hurt us. Okay, don't have a fumble between us. Don't have a fumble when you're putting the ball in. And I use that phrase all the time. You can start with that. Now, once in a while, let's face it, when you're carrying the ball high and tight, like we say, but you're going to get hit maybe, you're going to just get stripped and you may fumble the ball. But don't have a fumble just on a handoff. That should never happen. And when I talk about ball carrying drills later, we will stress how we do that. I think that for every running play, we should have a play action pass, almost every running play. That's our philosophy. We are an under center team more than a spread. That's one thing I don't like about the spread. I don't think you have as effective play action passes. They don't look like, I mean, you got the little fake here and so on and throw, but they don't look as much like runs. When you watch us, and Coach said he may put up a little tape later of our offense, we reverse pivot, hide the ball, and come off with play action. And they're very effective, and I've got some tape later that will show on that. Never have a fumble between us. Have a play action pass, okay, for all your runs. One that we just started to stress, I think we always stressed it but never gave words to it. We were at the University of Michigan clinic, and Harbaugh's thing was win on third down. Win on third down, you know. And we actually put it into our goals. It wasn't one before. I mean, you always try to win on third down. You try to win on every down, let's face it. But he feels if you can win on third down and get first downs and move the chain, it's going to make you an effective team. Michigan didn't move it on third down real well this year, but that is definitely a goal. I've got a chart here. When we put our goals together, you're going to say, God, those are so easy. Well, they're actually not. These have been our goals probably since 70, 75 or something like that. If we accomplish those, we think we should win the game. See those okay? Yeah. Okay, 3 TDs. That's not a whole lot, I guess. Sometimes it is. If you can get 3 touchdowns in most of our high school games, you can win. Because Coach Thorne's defensive goal is no touchdowns. So obviously, if we get 3 and he gives up none, we're in pretty good shape. So 3 touchdowns. What we have in our locker room is a chart of offensive goals. It's got each team name that we play and each goal. And we go in and we do that for offense, defense, and special teams. So when we go in after the game, we'll put up an X if we got it, and all the guys cheer. 0 if we didn't get it, you know. If we lose, we tell them go on home and we'll talk to you on Monday, you know. But anyway, 3 TDs, 150 yards rushing. Not hard to get, but sometimes it actually is. 75 yards passing, that was from long ago when we didn't pass much, and then teams are passing for 200 and 300 yards in high school anymore, but we still go with that. More important, 55% completions. You know, if you have under 50%, you've wasted half your offensive plays. Okay, 55% pass completions, and normally we hit that. No interceptions. This goes back to our turnover thing. No fumbles. 225 total. If you get those, of course, you get the 225. Really important, 8. Score every time inside the 10. We want to score a touchdown like everybody. But if we don't, we at least want to get a field goal. What gets the other team fired up the most? When they stop you down in the red zone. Tell you an experience from this year. In the semifinals, we played a team that controlled the football. They went 80 yards on us once, got down to the 1 and couldn't score. They could run 5 yards of carry in the midfield, but once they got down there, Coach Thorne's defense shut them down. This happened 4 times during the game. They got down inside the red zone. Once right at the end of the half, it just demoralized them, you know. No question about it. We only won 21-0, but the fact that they couldn't score. So we feel you gotta score when you get down in the red zone. That's why I love the power offense and coming off the ball and hitting people in the face, so to speak, getting in the end zone. I know you're all probably spread coaches, and there's a lot of things you do in the spread and the goal line too. But you got the guy back there at 5 yards. Of course, we got our tailback back at 5 yards, but we also got a fullback up in there, and so on. So anyway, that is one of our goals. This was a new one this year. We did pretty well on it, not great. Convert 50% of your third downs. Maybe that's a little low. Maybe we want to convert more, but that is it. This one is not as important as it used to be. More plays than opponent. Okay, control the time of possession and so on. When we had our greatest teams were in 2000, 2001, we didn't have any time of possession because we went bang, bang, and scored. And then the other team might have more. But that's a different situation. But still, control that if possible. Those are our goals, and like I say, we put those up each week. The kids enjoy it, and that's something they strive for. Now, I'm going to insert this here. You know, it says philosophy, so I took my favorite sayings, and you can put them into what words you want, but you might like to use some of these. To me, they're all important. The first one, I didn't make them up, by the way. I copied them all from somebody, but the only abilities that count are responsibility, accountability, and reliability. Now, we're working with high school kids, so I'm telling you, those are all important. Probably in high school right now, we're having more trouble with responsibility and accountability and reliability than we are with running the football and passing it. It's a different generation of kids when I started in the 60s, by far. They don't automatically, when you say, bring this in tomorrow, bring it in. We have to stay on it. Now, ability to play football could be in there, that's important too, but responsibility, accountability, and reliability, something that we think is very important. I use this a lot of times when I'm talking to other coaches. And anybody that had a great year last year or had a bad year, this is a good one. When you win, you're never really as good as you think you are. There's no question about it. When you win, you're thinking, I did everything right, oh, I'm great. When you lose, you're never as bad as you think you are. You know, you go through a bad season and you say, man, I don't know what I'm doing, I guess, and so on. It might be one of those things. You didn't have the players probably is the reason. So we try to keep it a level thought about that. When you win, you're never as good as you think you are. You know, I think as a staff, we're fairly humble. We always try to improve. My young coaches there are fantastic. They do so much in preparing. We were preparing for a team that had won one game, and you wouldn't know it because they prepared just as hard. Sunday they met for 10 hours, put everything into it. When the kids came in and saw the scouting report, they knew, hey, they're serious about this game. Kids know the team was 1-8 or whatever they were, but that's the way you have to do it. So anyway, I like that one. When I have friends that are coaches and they say, oh man, these players, I don't know, and so on, I like to use this one. Coaches are permanent, players are temporary. Okay, so believe in what you're doing. You know, believe in your philosophy. Now you might tweak it and change it a little bit, but believe what you're doing. And if you just have one bad game, it's probably not your philosophy or your offense or your defense, it's just the way things work out. Or like they say, the Jimmies and Joes, the players in other words. So believe in what you're doing. And we use this one because, let's face it, whenever you lose a game, you say, damn referees, dumb, you're bad. If so-and-so hadn't dropped that ball, we'd have won. If we'd made 18 more first downs, we'd have won. So anyway, this I think came from Bill Parcells, who was a great coach in the U.S., and it says, hey, you are what your record says you are. So you can complain on and say, I was 1-8, but I should have been 8-1. But you are what your record says you are. So those are some of my very favorite things. And when I talk to coaches, I use those all the time. So anyway, okay. Our system. Okay, our system I took from a coach from actually is in East Lansing in a high school and so on. And the system is simple. I don't know whether you would want to use it or anything, but I'm going to give it to you and show you how we call the plays. I present a class to the mothers of our football players. One time, I bring them in and I show them, this is what football is, and this is the way I start with them. I'm not saying you're not like the mothers, but I will show you how easy this system is. Okay, because they get it. All right. This is the basic thing. If we're going to run to the right, it's 1. If we're going to run to the left, it's 9. That's where we start. 1, 9. Okay. If we are going to run wide to the right, it's 3. Off tackle is 2. Over the guard is 1. Up the middle is 0. Going to the other side, it's the same. 1, 2, 3. Now theirs are not necessarily holes. Probably you have the common systems are to go 2, 4, 6 on one side, 1, 3, 5 on the other, and so on. These are areas that we're going to run to because we're an I formation team. Now, the tailback, if you got a good one, picks the places he's going to go. If in this formation, this would be our split end and tight end and so on. We'll get to that later. But this is the way we call the plays. Quarterback is 1. We call this guy an up back, fullback. I don't know, you probably don't use fullbacks here. You might. These are fullback, tailback, and this we call a swing back. It'd be a flanker for you guys. Swing back goes different places in the formation. We don't have a 2. We used to in a formation, but you know, football coaches are all weird. So I got 1, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now to call a play, the first thing you say is the direction we're going. So that'd be 1. The next thing you say is the back to carry the ball. My example here, that's a 4. The next thing you say is the hole that he's going to. So you can see this play right here, it'd be a 142. Okay, tailback, carrying it off tackle, going to the right. If we're going to go to this side, do the same play, it'd be 942. This is a simple system. The kids don't mess it up too much. Well, they do sometimes. Sometimes they don't know 9 from 1. We had a fullback who was great, but he said after 3 years, he says, "Coach, I finally got it." So, true. Finally got it. So, anyway, so that doesn't cover the passing game, but that covers the running game. Okay, now, thought I'd talk just for a minute about our personnel, what we look for, and it wouldn't be different probably than what you look for, except maybe for a fullback. Okay, our center. Our center, of course, has to be able to snap the ball, but mainly coach teaches him snap the ball and step at the same time. If you got a quarterback that snaps the ball and doesn't move his feet, he's going to get beat all the time by the nose guard. So he's got to snap, step. He doesn't have to be big in our offense, but he has to be able to get off the ball and be accurate. Now he has to snap in the shotgun and has to snap, of course, for the quarterback under. Our guards are a little bit smaller normally than our tackles. They have to be able to pull, okay? They have to be able to take on like big guys that in a four-man front that might play over them. They have to be good football players, obviously. Our tackles are a little bit bigger, and we had a right tackle this year that was 285 and 6'6". That helped a lot. He was good until we went against the team in the state championship that was 6'7", 340, and 6'4", 340. But he did well against them. But anyway, tackles have to be smart because they a lot of times call blocking schemes. The player we had here, right here, had 33 on the ACT, which if you have ACTs, I guess, I don't know, but it's a really high academics, so on. In the pros, they call this, you know, the tackle that's on the blind side and protects and so on. It's not quite that big a deal for us, but we need a good tackle there. Best receiver goes right here, split in. Best receiver. Now, if you're in spread, you want 4 good receivers. We all want 4 good receivers. But this is our best receiver we put here. This is a tight end. He's got to be able to block first, pass, catch second. However, our tight end this year was our one top player that's going to Notre Dame, not as an offensive player, but as a defensive player. But he ended up as our top pass catcher. We also split him out some in slot formations and double slot. But he has to be able to block first. He has to be able to reach block, he has to be able to block down, he has to block on the second level. Hardest position probably to learn on our offense is the swing back. The swing back could be here, he could be here, he could be here. He's all over the formation. And he has to be a combination of knowing how to block, catch passes, and occasionally run. He runs reverses for us, and he has to be a really good player. You have to find somebody there that can do that all. We like to bring him inside here in the power I and block. Now we can put different personnel in, but we like to keep the same personnel so the defense doesn't get a beat on what's actually coming in. Okay, formations. We believe that even though we got 27 running plays, we probably concentrate on maybe 10 of them, that you can confuse the other team, that confuse the defenses with various formations and motion. So I will show you our formations. We can actually get in any formation known to man, I'm telling you, but these are the main ones that we use. First one is called swing eye. We're in an I formation, so most of the time we're in the I, so we just call it swing. That's the swing back, tight end. This will be a split end, or we'll bring in another tight end for that formation. This formation is a good running formation. It's tough to defense. Okay, coach says, defensive coaches say this is one of the tougher formations to defense because you got a lot of gaps you got to control. Okay, that is a good formation for us. This we call spread right, but it's not a spread. Usually in the United States they call that pro right. I call it spread right. This is our swing back, tight end, split end, and of course our I backfield. That probably is our #1 formation. We run that more than anything else. We can run all of our running plays out of it and a lot of play action passes. We like that. Slot rate. We run the slot quite a bit. We have quite a few passes to the slot combination. In the way there. Okay.
Slide it up, Coach.
Yep, got it. Slot rate. We love the motion out of that formation. We run reverses out of it. We run a lot of passes to it. And we can run weak side plays. Our line coach, Coach John back there, loves us to get in this because it takes and removes one of the linebackers out. A little easier to handle with his blocking schemes. We can come back and run to the tight end side. We counter sweep to this side, and we'll explain that stuff. We run that a lot. Our main formations are right on this page, truthfully. Those are the main ones we run. We actually don't run swing as much as we probably should. This we call a triangle. You look at it, it is a triangle. It's really called, normally by football coaches, the power I. Anybody ever use that here? All right, one or two. That's a great goal line formation. Power I. Okay. Coaches joke about me all the time. They say it's my comfort zone. If we're in trouble, we get in the power I. Okay. This game in the semifinals, you know, is going up and down a little bit. They weren't scoring. We finally got the ball with about 7 minutes to go. And we just got in this formation. We kept the ball most of the rest of the game. It is a formation you can make a lot of first downs. Against the team we played last Saturday night, maybe not, because they're all 350 pounds. It's a little tougher to run power I, but we've got this as one of our main passing formations. I'll show a couple of those to you. We line up in the power I and actually can pass. And usually what happens is the defense comes way up, you know, and they're tight and the backs come up and they think we're running, and then we pull it, fake, and throw the ball. Usually a flag and a flat. Okay, so those are some of our favorites. Formations that you'll probably like more. I'm sure you all run these. Okay, there's your formations basically for the spread offense. By the way, in calling formations, I call them just what they are. I went to an all-star game once and the coach said, okay, slot right we'll call war fire or something like that. I don't know. I said, why don't we just call it slot right? We only got 3 days to coach these guys. He said, yeah, that's a good idea. So we did it actually. And that all-star game was pretty good. We won actually, and we had about 10 future pro players on the team, so that was pretty good. But this we call trips right, 3 trips right. Use the word loose, that means he's spread out. It could be trips right tight, and then you bring him in there. I'm sure you run, 3x1 you might call it, or whatever you call it. I like that formation. It's a good passing formation. When I talk on the passing game later, I'm actually going to talk mostly about our spread passes. You'll see that and use quite a bit. This, we just changed one word. We call it tray right loose. You see the difference? We have an end tight here. It's a good running formation, and it's a good passing formation, but we can run to the tight end side. By the way, these all flip-flop right or left. You know that. I mean, it could be tray right or tray left, slot right, slot left. So double what I drew them all to the right. Okay, the tray right, loose, good formation for us. Now these are a little bit different than when I went to name those, I didn't come up with real good names, I guess, but I used to take and put the tailback here, and tailback started with a T, so I just called it a state and I called it Texas. So that's called Texas left. This is split in. Usually now I put in another receiver I don't always put the tailback in here. This is the tight end, and he's on the line of scrimmage. This is the swing back, and he's off. Then we got either a fullback here who's a good blocker or a running back, possibly, if we want to run the ball more back there, and our quarterback. We call that Texas left. We can flip-flop that to Texas right. This one, there was no up back in. So up back started with a U, so I said, okay, something that might remind them there's no up back, so I called it Utah. Okay, this is the slot, just like Texas. Okay, but now we have a tray on this side. I call it a tray slot, I suppose, or something, but we call it Utah. That's a no back formation, and when we started running that, we had great success with it. More teams went to the spread, and they started stopping these things. We were one of the first schools that really started running a lot of this and running motion into these, and we made a living on it. And when everybody went to the spread, everybody's going 4 deep, you know, or they're going man under 2 deep, and they start defensing those things much better. So anyway, those are some of the formations that we like, especially in the passing game. Here's other things that, truthfully, we don't run very often, although we did this one quite a bit this year. This is called I right loose. We bring him in. We had good luck trying to run a stretch play here by bringing this swing back in and having him block down and stretching the ball out here. So this is I right loose. This is slot right loose. Okay. This one we put in double sessions. We never run it ourselves. You see T formation, anybody? Something that looks like this. We put it in, kids learn it. It helps us when we play other teams, so the scout team at least knows what it is. Okay, this is like a T formation. Loose means he's split out, swing back. Spread T right. And then we could go spread T left. This one, we never ran either, but we put it in so they know what it is. This we call pro, that's split backs. If you ran against a team that runs option, veer option, then this is the formation they probably are in. Split in, swing back, tight end, 2 running backs back here. Spread pro right. So that basically gives us about every formation we want. And you know, now we got, Coach uses the word sniffer and H-back and so on. So when they do the defensive scouting report, they might add a few things in a different formation. But they use this terminology that we started with. Okay, now, next in the progression of the offense. We like to offset the up back. So you may have seen this formation before. Okay. A lot of people call it, in the United States, they call it queen or king. When he's offset to the tight end, it's king. When he's offset here, it's queen. But I decided to make up my own system. So if he goes to the tight end, T-E, tight, D doesn't stand for anything, but Ted made a good word. So if we say spread right Ted, that offsets them there. We do that to get the fullback out to block quicker, to block the end possibly in the off tackle hole, to get out on a pass pattern, to go over there so he can fill as we pull a guard and tackle back the other way. It's a formation that we used a lot this year. Okay, this kid was really good blocker, so we set him over here to block the stretch play or block the end. Spread right, Ted. If we want to put him the other way, to the split end side, okay, the 2 letters there, split end, and we just added D, so it's said. It's not really a word, but he lines up on this side. Okay. Now, if we wanted to, I don't know if I put this in, but I should have. I'll just draw it here. If we wanted him to line up here and motion to the other side, we call it spread right Teddy. We just add DY. Okay, if we want to line up here and motion over here, we call it Sydney. That's just our system. Nobody else has ever used it or probably never will. But that way we can get them on the other side of the ball if we want. But like I said, I think motion is just huge. We use it a lot. When we go against a team that doesn't adjust, you can take benefit of it. Sometimes when they adjust too much, when they run backs across the field, we think that's something good to attack. Then you get other teams that are in like a 4-4-3 deep and they don't move anybody. Then it does no good to run it. Okay. Here's what the words we use. Slot right, motion. Motion means the slot back goes in motion opposite the side he lines up in. The slot right motion. So now we're in slot right, he knows he's going to motion this way. Slot right motion. Could be slot left motion, he knows he would go to the right. If we want to motion the tailback, we can do that. This is how we made a living for a while because we go into 4 receivers and teams couldn't adjust to it. This is spread, or it's actually swing right, leave. Because it starts with L, he's going to his left. So that's spring right, swing right, leave. Steps up to the line and goes in motion. Problems you got to watch for, that he doesn't turn up to the line of scrimmage too soon, that the quarterback makes sure everybody's set a second before you go in motion. Sometimes the quarterback gets anxious, calls the signal. We usually motion when he says red. Sometimes we lift our foot. Okay, that's leave. The companion to that is rip. Okay, that's swing right, rip. Starts with an R, he goes to the right. Very simple, okay? That's the way we put him in motion. Swing right, rip. A couple others, truthfully, we don't use them all that much, but they're in. That's supposed to be a Z here. Z motion means you start your motion toward the formation and then you go, you might cross it to block. It's illegal to crack back in our high school unless you block above the waist and in front. So we've got to be careful of that. But we can bring him back here. He can block in here on the second level. So that would be like a spread right Z motion. Okay. This is called return motion. See this in the pros all the time. They start to motion down, try to get the defense to switch, and then they motion right back to the position they're in. So you just head to the inside, may go to the tackle, may go to the tight end, come back to the other side. Return motion. In our triangle, in the power I, we can motion now different ways. We call this a jet. That's he lines up in the power I and motions in this area. We'd actually call that triangle right jet, and he knows what to do. This triangle left, short motion. Here's what we like to do here. We bring him in motion here, especially when the defense is set strong over here, and then we lock down, kick out, send the fullback through and run a power play in there. Or we run a pass. So that'd be triangle left, short motion. So you got jet, okay, that's motion to the same side you line up on, and you got triangle motion from the other side. And that's pretty much what we do. Now, drawing up some things here. I'll show you. I don't know how much they'll apply to you, but you may like some of this stuff. Like I say, we love to have, make sure I get the right thing here. We love to have play action passes is my favorite thing. I do more with the play action pass game than probably any other part of our game. Coach Herstein does all the blocking schemes for us in the run game. Helps call the runs a lot of times. He sees stuff on the field. But I love play action passes. And even if you don't run some of this stuff, I think you'll enjoy seeing it. This play has been very successful for us. Okay. You look at that formation. What does it look like we're going to run? Power, right? Looks like power. It is power most of the time. This is a fake of a blast. We reverse pivot. So the great thing when you reverse pivot is you hide the ball for a while. That's why we do it. You hide the ball. He comes back and he puts the ball into the belly of the tailback. The fullback blocks to the right. Okay. This guard pulls. Quarterback rolls. And now these are the patterns that we have. I didn't get into the passing, the way we do the name of the passes. I might do that here at the end. But this is an X receiver, this is a Y, this is the closest receiver to the call, next receiver to the call away. When you blast in here, when they got corners that are coming up, or they got a safety that says, I better help fill the off tackle one way or the other, then you got great play. This is an excellent route for us. The flag, the quarterback, he'll seat the ball in, he'll come off, getting depth. One of the things the quarterbacks don't do sometimes is they hurry through it. We say a lot of play action passes got to be like Novocaine. They set in a little slow, you know. We tell them that with the screen passes. He gets depth, comes off, he looks first, right here. Second, he looks to this man crossing. You'd say, how's he going to get through there? He usually does. He gets through there. And then backside. If you got a really good quarterback, like one we had quite a few years ago, helps coach us now, he would come off bootlegs and he would throw it to the backside. That guy's almost always open. But, you know, you're rolling this way and you got to be a good quarterback. Then get back, get your feet set, and so on. Okay, that's one play that I like. I got another one I even like better. This gives us another receiver. One of the plays that we run is a veer handback, okay? We fake to the fullback and we give it to the tailback. Okay, this is called a veer handback bootleg, all right? This is out of a slot formation. Now he doesn't have any trouble getting across the formation. Okay. We fake here, kind of a sloppy fake, truthfully. We don't want him to get tackled. We fake here, make a good fake to the tailback. He will fill here. If he doesn't have to fill, he'll look outside. Quarterback comes back. I got these going to the left. Veer hand back, bootleg at 9. Here we have the flag pattern. It takes a little longer to develop maybe, so he can kind of come in here and start a post pattern, run a double move, post and come back to the flag. We drag him across. He is usually open. We bring him backside. We don't throw to him much. He could. And then this one is almost always open in coverages we get. We throw it to the up back, call him the fullback, out in the flat. Quarterback frustrated us this year because this guy was open all the time and he would look, and then run the ball or something. So we wanted to get the ball out there quick if that guy is open. If the team that we're playing brings the end really hard, then we tell him to chip them. That means he'll just come up. We don't want him to get caught up in them, but he'll come up, block him, okay, with his inside shoulder, and then go into the flat. Doesn't open up quite as quick, but if your guard can't get there to block on bootlegs, you're going to get hit pretty hard. So you better have somebody taking care of that play. We like that one a lot. This one, this has been a staple since 1970. Teams in our league know it now, so it's not quite as good. Okay, this is a power pass. All right. You look here, what do we do mostly when we're in triangle right if we're not motioning? We're going to run off tackle here. That's what we do. Okay. This play takes a lot of work to run it correctly. Okay. A quarterback, I didn't even draw it correctly the way we do it now because this guy now blocked backside. How come it done right in there all of a sudden? Okay, he takes the ball, reverse pivots, puts the ball in the belly, the tailback, I can't demonstrate much anymore, I'm a little old, but he takes a little lead step, crossover, plant right here, puts the ball in, quarterback doesn't hurry, quarterback was a good tailback here. You look like a good tailback. Good choice. When the quarterback gets back to him, he'll put the ball in like this. He comes over, he slides it out, puts it on his hip. He goes here, and then he blocks back here. Yep. Quarterback rolls out. Now you got a run pass option. It's a great play on the goal line. It's a great play on 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. That's good, thanks. Mistakes. Quarterback will hurry the play. He'll just run back, little fake. It looks like a rollout pass, not effective. If you put the ball in there and the tailback makes that good fake, corner will say, I got to stop that play. Safety will come up and force. Flag, flat, drag. It's one of my favorite plays. We call it 43 goo pass. Goo means the blocking scheme. This guy, it's best when he can block down. Sometimes they won't let you block down. You got to release outside. But when you can block down and go here, you got a touchdown. If not, we had problems this year because our quarterback, again, he didn't get the ball here quick enough. You want, once he opens up, you want to throw it. And usually what happens is the corner may see it at the end and he'll be on his inside shoulder. So just throw the ball out here and let him catch it, especially on 3rd and short or down on the goal line. Get the so-called yak, yards after catch. So those plays have been really good for us. The other one, don't think I drew it up, but I'm gonna see. I'll draw it up right here and let it show us. It's called a counter sweep move. It's off of again about power eye. Switch pins here. A little crude, but we line up in the power eye, and one of our plays down there is a counter sweep. We reverse pivot, sloppy fake here. Our play is to hand it to him, and we actually pull these guys this way. I think, Coach, you have them do a phony pull now if we run that, right?
Counter sweep roll? Counter sweep boot.
Counter sweep boot.
Oh, boot? Boot, I actually had the guard pull there.
Yeah, the left guard pull, but
Yeah.
these guys.
On the roll, they do what we call a bullshit pull.
Bullshit.
Something that we, I know, I'll talk play action, pass it later. Something that we do with the center, though, that's kind of neat. So you got the guard pulling, doing his bullshit pull, looking like he's going to come over here and trap. You have the center blocking back to fill for the guard. Well, that center, they're going to read that as that guard pulling. That center that's blocking back is going to actually slip by the defensive tackle, staying within the 3 yards, not going downfield, and come wrapping back around and look to rat kill a guy who's going to get the quarterback. You know, who's thinking he might get the quarterback. It's another way to get the fullback possibly into the flat. And then you have that tackle who's bullshit pulling. Oh, oops! I blocked down on that defensive tackle that the center is supposed to be blocking. Oops. You know, so some bullshit.
Okay, this is the play. We call it counter sweep boot. All right. Fullback goes up here, make chip. If we call it a roll, he blocks him. He goes flat, blocks down. Same kind of patterns as the others. Again, he comes through. He's open a lot coming through here. Fake the counter sweep here, and he can block over here. One of our plays that when I go over passing, we like to bring him back here and screen to him. In the state championship game, we tried to bring him back and go there, and we didn't complete it. Let's put it that way. But it seemed like it was going to be open. But anyway, that is that's pretty much our play action on the goal line. Play action on short yardage, or we can use it basically anywhere. All right, this is out on the field, and it's definitely one of my favorite things. Draw it up this way. I don't know why I drew it up that way originally. Let's see how that looks. Well, the words are backwards, but you're German, so it doesn't matter. You're not reading it. So. It's in English. Okay. That's not meant as a slam or anything, by the way. So. We love this play. It's a blast, reverse, the whole series. Actually, I think we got it on tape, John. We're going to show later, right?
Yeah, I got the tape all set for you.
You can show that even now.
Yep.
Okay, here's the first part of it. We either go bore, which means we block out here and give it to the tailback and then fake all this stuff. That's 141 bore. Then we go blast, reverse, we give it to him. We'll pull the guard. We'll show you some of this. So they got to defend that. Then, my favorite, we go blast, reverse, boot at one, run or pass. If we do that, we send this man down. We send him out the back door, but we don't throw it to him. Believe it or not, this guy gets open all the time. It's blast, reverse, boot at one, pass. It's the hardest play to call. So I just say run the blast reverse pass and they get it. But this guy will come over, the secondary will jump on him, secondary will jump on the reverse, and we throw it there. Blast, so it's 141 bore. I know I haven't explained this real well, but 141 bore, 141 blast, reverse, 141 blast, reverse, boot at one, run, 141 blast, reverse at one, boot at one, pass. The thing I didn't mention, here's another guy that gets open. After you fake the blast in there, he goes in the flat. And the fullback comes out here and blocks. This guy is almost always open. Now, the only time it doesn't work is when they load up on the slot and come at you. The state championship game, we thought we had it set up. Quarterback says, nobody's watching me, so when I ran it, 2 guys were watching them. Smacked them and we didn't get anywhere. Finest laid plans, you know. Okay. I've got some running plays. Coach Herstein is going to come up and draw the blocking because he does all our blocking schemes, and then he tells me what to run. The first play I'll put up here, let me see where I got it. Yeah. If it was up to Coach Herstein, we'd run this every play of the game. And no matter when I say what's open, he says 42 pull, right?
Hell yeah.
Well, not really. Okay, these are eye plays again, so I'm not sure how interested you are in them, but that's what we do, so we'll put them up. So this is 142 pull. Okay, you can come on up. We reverse pivot, give the ball deep to the tail. Our tailback's at about 5.5 yards. Sometimes 6. How fast he is depends on where he goes. One story I was going to tell you, they said, you can tell a few jokes, you know, I don't know if they'll go over or not, but coach in the UP, up part of Michigan is all woods. And we asked him, how do you pick your personnel? He was speaking, he says, it's easy up there, we're in the woods. We take them out, run them as fast as we can through the woods. Those that run into the trees are linemen, those run around them are backs. Pretty good, isn't it? Okay, this is 42 full. Let's do them one at a time. Go ahead and draw that.
So I'll go in depth with it when during my presentation. We've got.
I'm stealing your stuff already.
That's okay. I've got drills, and then I've got it tied to a scheme and all types of good stuff. But just so it makes sense with what Coach has got going on, we'll have the center block back. These guys will work combinations, but they're goo roll gap, inside gap, on, over top of them. On, over would be over top. So on them, over top of them would be like a linebacker, and then outside. So inside gap, on you, linebacker over top, outside. That's their rule. They're going to block in that sequence of I must follow this gap first. And to be honest, I tell them many times, I don't give a shit about that last outside part. You block your damn gap, nothing can come inside of you, and then you make a off-color joke about never let a man come inside of you, and you know, I don't think it's funny, but they get the idea of how that sounds. So
You say that to those kids?
I never point out that, you know, that it's that off-color, but they all kind of look around like the coaches say that. I didn't mean it like that. All right. So down, 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 and you know, Coach talked about these tight ends, you know, being blockers first, receivers second. Sure, I guess. Okay. Anyhow, you got to get them to block down too. Took us 3 years to teach a kid what off tackle meant, so that was good. And then you got the guard pulling around, and we tell them to hug it tight, looking for the first entry. You know, we've done the old traditional, and now we're doing the skip pull stuff where we stack the feet. You know, before I was crossing them over, now we're stacking them so you don't drift too wide. And that was a big thing I learned from some guys was when you stack that foot, we oftentimes when we ran 42 pull, we were overshooting the hole a little bit. You say, hug it tight, damn it. But because their momentum's taking them so wide, they struggle with it. So we stack the feet, that worked out better. So he's pulling, and then this guy's working what we call a wheel block, where he's going to block B gap to C gap. Sometimes if this backside defensive end does not come chasing down, we'll let them just work what we call an over block into the linebackers. And you've got, you know, that 53. If you watched Coach Thorne's defensive talk last time, you know, he played at Michigan. He played kind of stick with the Ravens. He's actually playing in Japan now. He came down and he cleaned some guys up as a backside tackle. If you're not going to chase with that defensive end, we're going to turn our tackle loose. Now, the flip side of that is we also run so much bootlegs and play action. If they are chasing that defensive end, you know, this play action pass, you have to roll towards that side. And on so many of them, we bootleg out. I think that really gives them problems. So wheel block on the back side would be the last piece. So they're blocking their gap.
Okay, next one is our trap. We like to trap up the middle. This is called 30-buck trap. My coaching techniques here are, he has to know whether it's an even or an odd defense, okay? If it's an even defense, he hits right up the middle. If it's an odd defense,
You're the white one.
yeah. He hits right up the middle. If it's an odd defense, he cuts it back. Sometimes the up back will run where the guard pulls. It's a short trap. I'm messing up what John will draw now. We give it right here. The quarterback comes off, and believe it or not, this really helps. He rides this guy like he has the ball. He puts both hands in, and we tell the back, you rock the baby. It's an old wing tee thing. So you put in the back, does that. Believe it or not, it may hold a linebacker, it may hold one defensive back. If it's done that, that's a good thing. We love this play. It's successful for us. It wasn't as successful this year, but it's a quick trap or buck trap for the fullback. It's about the only play he gets to run. So he tries to get good at it. Okay.
Yep. So the buck trap for the lineman, you're always looking ways to dick over the defense. I coach defensive line also, so a lot of my guys, we split our practices up. Monday is defense, Wednesday is defense, Tuesday, Thursday, mostly offense. Well, a lot of my guys are with me all the time, so I'm constantly stealing things that can carry over from one thing to the next.
Those are my markers. That's a good chisel.
Oh yeah, oh, that's a nice one. Nice dry erase marker.
You bought cheap markers? I don't know.
No, this might erase the stuff on here because it's the dry erase stuff. That's a trick for you. You guys use dry erase boards at all? Familiar with this? The dry erase board, we use these type of markers. Okay, you can take the Sharpie, you can draw on the dry erase board, permanent marker. People are looking at you like you're nuts. How are you going to get that off? Permanent marker. Then you use this over top of it. You guys know the trick. Okay, use that over top of it and take it off. So if you draw your first, your offensive line up there, you can draw over top of it a bunch of different times with this, and then at the very end use this and kind of scrub it down with this. So anyhow,
I hope that's not the one good thing you take out of the whole talk.
Listen, I already gave away how to make an in-zone camera for $250. That right there is a steal. I'm telling you guys, film practice, we go nuts with that shit. Okay, so the buck trap. We've done many different things here, but typically we look to fill for the guard, and so often our center will have to fill for that pulling guard, okay? Now, we have worked where the tackle's cut off, but I think the center filling has been best for us, keeping it simple. The play side guard is gonna block down on the A gap. We try to trap the guy head up to outside the guard. Now, sometimes we've had him outside release. We've done different things like that, but typically we have him blocked down to A gap, which often leads him to a linebacker. This guard will pull and trap a defensive end. And then these guys here, we tell them, and they don't understand it like, well, I gotta block this defensive end because he's right here. This defensive end right here. This guy's thinking, I gotta block that. No. Do not touch them. They should not be able to make this play because the ball hits so quick, right up what coach calls the zero hole, so they release the linebacker. This guy's going to inside release to linebacker or safety as a tight end. But we don't want to, 11-on-11 football, we don't want to block the guys away from where the ball is going. We want to block the guys where the ball is going. So.
This play actually works very well, and believe it or not, it's even a good play sometimes on long yardage. They think you're going to throw the ball or go wide or something, and you slip them up in there. Okay. Our next favorite plays, the stretch play. We've only put this in, even though Coach Thorne won't say we've had any new plays since 1970. We've only had this a few years, and we only ran it pretty well this year. The stretch you probably have seen where the quarterback stretches the ball out. One play we don't reverse pivot on. He goes straight down the line. We try to aim just outside the tight end, and we should be about 2 yards in the backfield. Normally we get a little deeper than that, it seems like, but that's what we're aiming for. Tailback just takes a lead step and runs as fast as he can to the outside. Our fullback is almost always in Ted, or said offset. He blocks the force. We stretch it out, hand it off. He can cut back, but our design is to get outside with that play. Okay. You gonna draw it over there, Coach?
Yeah, and I'm gonna go really
Good for
old
you.
school on it, Coach.
Hey,
For
that's
that,
good. I
that
love
stuff
it.
over there. Okay, so. Safety, and then sometimes we get another bank of it. Okay, so Coach talked about that out of the gun. The great thing about these blocking schemes is or out of the eye, we'll apply the same blocking scheme to the gun runs. So like, for example, this year, we went with a really fast guy right here and the quarterback here. Now we called it sweep, but it's the same. I teach 1-3 hole blocking scheme. It's one way that we're gonna block this, and it's a pin-pull combination because it fits into our power look. So we could go the sweep here, or when we had a really good quarterback that could run, we would go with that guy there. That's, you know, the equalizer, isn't it? You know, you get a quarterback that can run the football, you know, that's awesome stuff. So typically we have these guys stock block. We have worked with them cracking possibly. This guy here who's leading the blocking always has the force. Now, who's the force? Well, if we're cracking, it could be the monster. If we're blocking here, it could be this guy. Okay? A lot of times the safety probably playing more over here inside number 3. You know, so, but he's got the force. Now, these guys here are going to do one of two things. If something's in their gap, the inside gap closest to the football, they're going to block down on it. If nothing's in your gap, you're going to pull around. So pin and pull. All right, this guy here, if this guy's playing in this gap, you would take him. Since nothing's in that gap, you could make a reaching call. Either way, looks like he's going to have him. If he was lined up here, he'd block him. If he was lined up outside, he would reach him. If there was a guy in here and a guy out here, you'd block his gap first. Gap first. In that case, we might come down with a crack, or that's why Coach talked about me liking that eye right formation. All right, something in his gap, or say he's even playing head up. If you think he's a B gap player, we're going to block down here. This guy's going to pull. All right, now backside, we don't ever want to block this guy, and we want to make this guy play back behind us. So we'll cut block here. You'll see our tackles, I tell them, take whatever angle you can take to get them. So you'll see them skip, pulling all the way around for that guy. Okay? All right. Center's got to take whatever angle he can take to get to him. Maybe he's really fast, he can take off there and get him. Probably not. All right, we had a pretty quick center. So we say go meet him on the other end. So he'll pull around for him. This guy here, pull around for the same linebacker. All right, if he gets on the force, they'll exchange responsibilities. We worked that, we've done a drill. I didn't film it. You know, so many drills, so little time. One of my favorite sayings to coach is so many plays, so little time.
Yeah.
All right, so, you know, we'll work a combination where they'll come out, they'll combo with each other, and whoever is the outside guy will knock him on, inside guy will take him, and then he'll slip off onto the next guy, the safety. So they just treat it like a combination block. So that's it from the gun. So Coach, you know, they're all talking about, you know.
Yeah, well, put up, last play really is 41 read.
41 read.
Because I think they'd be interested in that. They probably run it if they run a lot of spread. It's where the quarterback reads the end, if he's coming down or not.
Yeah. So we typically run this, you know, we'll dip with the formation, we'll play with the formation, we'll go trips towards or trips away from who we want to read, depending on how they're going to run it. But we'll just draw it up out of 2x2 to start off. Can you guys all see this okay? Am I drawing too small?
No.
Yes, okay. All right, so 41 read. Typically, you're going to end up with some type of safety and safety cover in here, corner, or, you know, these guys could be that nickel look, free safety. Everyone likes the 4-2 man free, you know what I mean, or some type of look like that, or you know, something of that nature. We see when we go this type of set, or when we have to defense this. I know Coach will talk about that. Coach Thorne will in his next session. We run a lot of this defense, so obviously other people do too. We need to be able to defend it. So 41 read. We're going to read the backside end. Okay, it's the zone read. Now, I don't teach it as inside zone landmarks because we're a gap or a man blocking scheme. So the goo rule was gap on over outside. The stick rule is the opposite of that. They call it oog, but it means nothing. So outside, on, over, inside. So I have to block the guy to my outside first. And I'm telling you, it's sometimes tough for these guys to, oh, oog is the opposite of goo. But, all right, so we got two schemes. Stick. We call it read, 941 read. We're reading this backside end. This guy here is going to block out on him. Okay, left foot lead. These two are going to run a combination for the first linebacker. So they'll combo him. And a lot of zone teams, they'll say, oh, that guy here has to step with his outside foot, you know, because nope, come off and double fist, go uppercut that guy right in the stomach. Okay, backside. You know, typically you see a 3 technique, an outside shade here. You work the same thing here. Now, this guy here, he might step with his inside foot because we don't want that angle to really hurt us. But the backside guy, I think this is more important. He tries to get over behind him and stack on his double team. So this guy's like, I tell him, you know, we teach high school kids, you guys teach, all your guys' kids, you guys got all ages, don't you? Youth to, you know, post-secondary, what is it, U19, correct? Sure. All right. I tell them, it's like you're walking down the street and maybe you see somebody you don't like or whatever, and you walk by and give them that good hard shoulder, don't you? That shoulder doesn't give away. It's not, oh, excuse me, it's that. All right, so I tell them, give them that on your way to this linebacker, and this guy to stack and take him, and then the back, you know, I'll let coach take it from there, but the backs are essentially, he's kind of reading him, and this guy's looking here, the backside, and a lot of times this play will hit here, or there. Those are the good ones for us. Sometimes, you know, when the running back thinks he's really fast, he'll want to just bounce it outside, and that's usually a bad idea. But, and then this guy's reading the backside end. He closes, QB keeps, he plays upfield, QB gives. So
on that play, we probably give it more than we keep. It's mostly a give, you know, the way they defense us and so on. Yeah. It's a good play in 2 minute too. We can automatic that call, so when we're in, we think we're passing, it's great to run that play. Yeah. Okay.
One more thing really that I wanted to go over is how we implement this stuff and practice and so on. We're very fortunate that we have a football class. It's not called that, it's a advanced team sports or something, some phony name for the administration, so they let us have it, you know. We got all our players in there basically, except the real smart ones go to the IB thing, but everybody else is in there. So we'll start in second semester, and on Tuesdays I will run offense in the gym, and we'll start teaching these plays. On Thursdays we run defense in the gym. Coach Thorne will teach the defenses. What a great advantage. Not all high schools have it. We're very fortunate. It took me a long time to get it. I had to coach for about 30 years before they'd finally give it to me, you know. And then they said, okay, this does have some kind of academic meaning. Well, it does, I guess. They all get A's in it. Helps a great point. You know. But in season, we're probably different than anybody. We spend more time on defense. My philosophy is that if these guys stop them, we'll get a touchdown somewhere. And we want to go out there and make sure we can defend. So we spend less time. Plus, our plays are our plays. They're not going to vary. John makes up the blocking schemes on Monday, so it might vary according to where we're playing a 4-front or we're playing a 50 or whatever. Then Tuesday is my big day for offense. By the way, we do kicking I think Coach Thorne said to me, we do kicking every day, some facet of it. So on offensive day, we'll do punt and we do kickoff return. But we start off in fundamentals. I'll take the backs, I'll work on fundamentals with them, which I'll be talking about today. Coach works with the receivers doing catching drills and stalk blocks, which is a hard thing to teach. To get your wideouts to really go out and block people is difficult. We'll work hard on that. And he's working with the offensive lineman at the same time. If I have my quarterback coach there, he can't be in practice a lot because of his job, but he works on a passing net, things of that nature. Okay, Then we bring them together for skelly passing. That's like 7-on-7. We've worked on that all summer. I don't know, obviously you don't have that, I guess, but it's a big thing in the United States now to put your teams out there 7-on-7, no pads, passing, you know. It's got good things, it's got bad things. You got a lot of bad habits. They carry the ball like this and passing in the league, and they don't break down because you just tag a guy. But anyway, we do that. Then we go to team passing. He brings a lineman over, usually late because he takes extra. One more. He's one of those coaches, you get one of those, come on, join us. One more. You
It's
know.
always another, because another is indefinite. It's like another rep. You know, I waved the one, but it doesn't really mean shit. You know, it's another rep.
It's like another beer.
Another beer.
Same like the last beer.
Last beer we put over there for the end of the night. We always have another beer.
So anyway, he brings them over, we go team passing, and we think we're throwing the ball pretty well, and then he comes over and they start blitzing and everything, and maybe we're not throwing as well. Then we go team runs with passes thrown in. Then I go 2-minute offense. I put them on the 30. We try to keep the clock on it. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Have the 2 minutes, see how we do that drill. And then we go goal line. That's fun time. None of this is live anymore. We're only allowed 90 minutes of contact a week, even though we practice 5 days. 90 minutes where you can actually smack people. We do it anyway, but I mean, not really full contact. And then we put them on the goal line, and we run that. We call it thunder offense. We run those plays, and then extra point and field goal. And one of our traditions is the kids on that day run 20, 40-yard dashes. But if the field goal kicker can make a field goal of 40 yards, gets one shot at it, then they don't run. So we harass him and blow the whistle and do anything. It's to put pressure on him. He makes it, they all jump up and he's a hero, and they miss it, they don't like it. They don't beat him up, but they don't like it. Our kid made it most of the time, so then they don't have to run. So it's a gimmick, but it's a fun thing, and they look forward to it. Okay, well, do we have some?
Yeah, I got some video.
You got still 7 minutes left.
7 minutes of video, that's what you're gonna get then.
All right, I got 40-something clips pulled up. These are not highlights, but they're not lowlights. They just took from last couple years, couple of, is this turning on, or would I just press the red button?
Erste Reihe, kümmert euch den Beamer ab.
Wir brauchen ein bisschen.
Super.
We're good. Never mind that. We're good. Okay, very good. All right. So here are, and you know, I kind of organized it by formation, but you're going to get, like Coach said, you're going to see a lot of our stuff here at the beginning. I'm going to steal this chair. All right. Keep the party going here.
We can do our whole offense in 7 minutes, so it'll be
Full offense. You know, like I said, these aren't highlights, but they're not lowlights either. These are kind of pretty good plays, but against pretty good competition, to tell you the truth. This is against one of our arch rivals. It's a double slot play. We're going to go 43 sweep here. Left tackle should reach the end. Okay? Now, I tell him if he's going to beat you, let him beat you inside. Center's pulling around there, making sure that he's kind of bullshitting. He's looking backside too much. He should have kept on running.
stock block you didn't get. We always tell those guys, you got to get the touchdown block. You're going to be the hero, but it's tough to block in the end of the field.
That kind of clips him, knocks 2 into 1. End zone film. So this is what we kind of get going on here. They we call that a Playboy. I said before, you guys, you know, back in the day when I was growing up, we had Playboy magazine with the centerfold. All right, the pretty girl in the middle of the magazine that folded out. That's the name Playboy Centerfold. Okay. All right. This is in the 80s with the scramble in here. Let's just see what happens with protection. I haven't watched these. I just put this together in the back there for Coach. He's going to pull it down and scramble. So this is, I don't know what 80s it is. This is 82.
We'll be showing those in the last segment.
All right, but double slot, you kind of get a feel for the formations. Another double slot formation. This is a crossing route. Quarterback's able to complete it. Pretty good pass pro here. I'll talk more about the technique with that at the end. Bad end zone throw. All right, 43 sweep. This is an end over formation, so this is unbalanced. All right, so this is our slot right. We call it end over right. Tight end comes over, pin and pull. We get a shitty block there, but we're able to find a hole. Okay, does it well enough.
Probably not quite wide enough, but he does it up inside there.
This is that QB run like I was talking about over there on the board. So tight end's blocking down. We try to get with the crack block. Again, he kind of knocks him off. Get a decent crack back here. That's good by this guy. Little hard shoulder, the big right shoulder. He's notorious for that. It's always fun to watch. Look at the backside tackle pulling from the, see the right tackle? See him pulling around? He'll take whatever path he has to take to get there. So that's better stop blocking by 17 out here on the edge. We're going to get from the end zone. I don't know why this end zone throw is so bad. All right, here's a quads formation. This is going to be that sweep play again. All right, we get the reach block by the tight end. Guys pulling around. We talk about playing long, using a stab technique on defense. We do the same thing on offense. So you get a decent view of this. See the reach block they got. So the tight end's rule is what? Gap. Well, nothing's in his gap, so he's going to reach that guy. Oh, here's the 30 buck trap.
Hey.
The I formation. Nice trap block here. Just enough. This guy really ran this play well.
You get on the secondary before they know you're there, you know. It's like the play.
Linebackers did what we talked about. There's an end zone film over it. So center's going to block back. Right guard's going to block back to linebacker. Guard's going to pull and trap. The key blocks the backside tackle there, does a nice job. I got it circled here. This must have been from previous notes where I was even giving the boy a data boy or yelling at him. Data boy, good job, good job, no long, no sugar, dog. Wild dogs in the streets, You may let us know when we're up because
the defense is finished and now at the buffet you still have a couple more minutes.
Here, I'll tell you what, I'm going to show this one because this is a spring play and I think this is a really good one. This is off that counter sweep action. Fake it. Little cowboy. And then let me just scroll down here. Your hand-back boot. Here's a counter sweep boot, and then I'll show a blast reverse boot, and then a Utah. I think you guys will want to see the Utah. So here's the counter sweep boot at 1. So it's going to be a boot to the right. Up back's in that set position where he can release to the flat quickly. Surprise, surprise, that's going to be a hit. That's a nice game.
Get you off the goal line sometimes.
Sprint out, we didn't talk about that. So we'll go blast reverse boot, pass at 1. This is going to be for a touchdown, I think. Yeah, complete touchdown. So this is, Coach is going to talk more about this play. This is kind of like our trick play, if you will. But we really get a lot of good yardage on it. Nice catch by that guy. All right, and then I'll give you the last one right now. I know guys are getting hungry. They're going to beat you to the buffet. Utah 186 smash. This is that empty set that Coach was talking about. Oops. All right, this is that empty set. So the tray to the right, the slot to the left. You typically look for the tight end down the middle. I don't know who he hits here. He hits the smash. He'll scramble into the smash. So, couple of the plays that we got, a couple different formations.
We'll have more of this on my last lecture. We'll show more of this. More of the passes that you probably like out of the out of the gun. Okay.
Thank you. Bitte, da draußen nicht eure